Launched just over a year ago, the global business process outsourcing firm Serco South Africa has processed more than 2.5 million calls since opening for business in 2012 and has employed more than 350 local staff. Fagri Samar, Partnership Director at Serco South Africa, joins us now for a little bit more. Fagri, before we get into the numbers as well as the success that you've seen in just over a year, give us a little bit more background as to who Serco South Africa is.
Serco Global Service is one of the largest managed business process outsourcing companies in the world. We employ just over 100,000 people in about 30 countries, and we do a range of outsourced services across both the public and private sector, predominantly in retail and mobile services. And we've recently come into South Africa with our key anchor customer, who is one of the largest retailers, online retailers in the UK.
Fagri, just looking at the success that you've seen in South Africa, you've also employed 350 people to process more than 250 million calls. That's not an easy feat to achieve. How did you do it?
Well, it's actually a combination of what's available in South Africa now, really maturing market, good infrastructure development, and importantly, a really good skills pool. So we were able to, with a certain degree of difficulty, but certainly not as difficult as one would expect, put together a really good proposition to our customer in the UK. And present that. I think the most important thing was getting the right people in through the business, and I'm happy to report that the Western Cape and Cape Town and South Africa in general has been able to produce that brilliantly over the past few years now, and in particular for Serco over the past few months.
Take us back to the decision of your global partners to enter the South African market. What were some of the motivating factors?
I think what South Africa presents to the BPO sector globally is a great location which balances, in particular for UK customers or English-speaking customers, a good balance between good cost arbitrage, so the price is really good and competitive, but more importantly, customer experience. So the quality of exchanges and the quality of interactions between our advisors and our UK customers in this instance are either of equal or better quality than existing UK contact centres. And I think that's been the big issue. Also, big infrastructure developments over the past few years have really made South Africa an attractive destination for BPO and offshoring activities, particularly emanating out of the UK, also out of Australia, and increasingly now we see out of North America as well.
You say infrastructure development there. What kind of infrastructure?
I think the biggest enabler has really been around the stability of telecommunications. So we've seen quite a large supply and development of telecommunications on both sides of Africa, which has enabled us to connect to the UK with relative ease. The quality of those connections has improved tremendously over the past few years, and also the cost has come down tremendously over the past few years as well. So I think the combination between the enabling IT environment, the support that we get from both local, provincial and national government, and then of course the increase in the number of skills we can access in these geographies has put together a very powerful proposition to our customers, and in this case again in the UK.
Fagri, just coming back to the announcement that you published today, you mentioned that South Africa is a great location for enabling innovation, and you mentioned that we have a great pool talent regarding financial services as well as compliance and insurance. Those are some positive attributes that many South Africans aren't aware of. So a gold star now on our cards, maybe?
Absolutely. I mean, we've seen actually that certainly our advisors have been able to grasp the concepts of compliance quite easily. I don't think we realize how much governance and financial service compliance we actually go through on a daily basis, and it's been a very almost seamless exchange between UK regulation and South African regulation, and importantly the understanding of our advisors and our employees to enforce and implement those on the exchanges and interactions with our customers.
You also mentioned here that you're looking to unleash a lot of exciting opportunities both locally as well as in the rest of Africa. First of all, what kind of innovations are you hoping to unleash in South Africa?
Well, I think that particularly what we see is a great opportunity to bring our digital services to be serviced out of South Africa, but not just for our offshore customers, also into the domestic market. And when you look at service today, there's a big demand for different channels of communication other than just voice-based contact centers. And digitization of service has become a buzzword, but also a reality for businesses around the world. And we see the skill sets available in South Africa as a great opportunity again to enable some of those innovations. Also, with the onset of telecommunications being a lot smoother and widely available, we can deploy services with relative ease across from South Africa across our global customers. So really good opportunities to move up the value chain and kind of combine multi-channel and digital services with our voice capabilities over the next few years, I think.
Elaborate a little bit further on the digital opportunities that are presented. Is this something similar to mobile apps or online?
It's a combination of those things, mobile apps, online. I mean, if you think about, people always talk about convergence. You think about it, everything happens on a mobile phone these days. And on those phones, you find things like web chat. You find applications such as Twitter, Facebook, even basic chats like WhatsApp being utilized to deliver services at fairly low costs to a very wide audience. And I think that's a very exciting prospect to businesses because it reduces the cost of service, but importantly, increases the way in which customers can access business today. So all about improving the quality of exchanges, but also reducing the cost at the same time. And I think that's going to be a big focus for many businesses over the next few years, if it hasn't already become one.
Fagi, regarding Africa, are there any countries that you've already identified to enter at the moment?
I think we're more focused on sub-Saharan Africa, and in particular the Mozambican corridor, because of the development that we have there. And we've also taken a view of entering into the geography, not with caution, but certainly in a meaningful manner. We don't willy-nilly kind of move into geography. So we tend to focus for now on South Africa, moving into the Mozambican corridor, and we look at opportunities as they develop all the way up Africa over the next few years, I'm sure.
And what about some of the challenges that you might face? Regulatory, maybe, for an example?
I think Africa presents an interesting blend of regulations, but I think for any sector, particularly growth sectors, the big challenge is for us to develop sufficient skills, not just at entry levels, but at middle, junior management and specialized environments to meet the demand that we're getting from the international clientele out there. So I think the big focus over the next few years is going to be around skills development. It's going to be around getting the right people into the business, and it's going to be around creating career paths and environments of learning which enable people to kind of move into management, into running these centers in the future.
Fagri, before we let you go, your first year has been absolutely amazing. What can we expect from you in the year to come?
Yeah, I think you'll definitely see us growing in leaps and bounds in next year. We'll probably be focusing to a large degree on retail and mobile sectors from an offshore perspective. And I think you'll also see us moving into the domestic market with a certain degree of aggression. And we're really excited about both of those prospects. So look out for us over the next few months or so. We certainly will be around for the foreseeable future as well.